Hello, rising sophomores. We are going to be covering your scheduling information for the 2024-2025 school year. The presentation will cover the counseling team, important dates, high school requirements and college eligibility requirements, the typical 10th grade course load and important things to consider, electives, CTE, AP and honors courses, balance versus burnout, important links, and frequently asked questions. So here is the Amador Valley Counseling Department. Students with the last names A through CL have Mr. Moa. Students with the last names CM through E have Ms. Hashimi. She's also our college and career counselor. Ms. McEntee Ponce has students with the last names F through HA. I'm Ms. Pacheco. I have students with the last names HB through LEB. Ms. Torres has students with the last names Lee through the letter O. Ms. Maloney has students with the last names P through SOL. Ms. Tran has students with the last names SOM through Z. And then Ms. Yu is our sport counselor here on campus. You can also see that we also have a registrar. We have our ROP specialist, our counseling secretary, and we have 2 counseling secretaries down in the main office. Important dates. So our course selection window will open on Friday, February 2nd at midnight and go through Friday, February 9th at 11:59 p.m. Students and families will be able to enter course selections through Student View. Student access question and answers sessions are going to be available for students to sign up for in FlexiSketch. The counselors will be available to answer any questions that you have about course selections. Those sessions will be January 24th, 25th, and 31st, and then February 1st, 7th, and 8th. There is a elective fair / curriculum fair that will be Monday, January 22nd in the large gym from 6 to 8. You can come and get your questions answered about different courses and talk to the teachers that teach those specific classes. We also are going to have a Rising 10th through 12th grade question and answer session on the same night. This will be in the MP, so Monday, January 22nd in the multipurpose room. Session 1 is from 5:45 to 6:45, and session 2 is 6:55 to 7:55. You're welcome to pop in, ask your question, and then leave if you'd like, or you can stay and hear the questions of the other people that are there in attendance. Pleasanton Virtual Academy will be taking applications during the same time window that we're having students select their courses for next school year. So it's going to be between February 2nd and February 9th for the 2024-25 school year. Students will complete an application, and that application is on the Pleasanton Virtual Academy website. Course selections and confirming emails. So in March, families will receive an email confirming course selections for the 2024-2025 school year. Please make sure that you are thinking through what your course selections are and that you're making the choices that you want for yourself for next school year. There'll be limited opportunities to request a schedule change after the scheduling window closes. Comparative subject requirements. So for graduation, students need 3.5 years of history or social science. They need either a semester of global studies or ethnic studies, which you're taking this school year. Next year, we'll take a year of world history. Your junior year, you'll take a year of U.S. history. And then your senior year, you'll take a semester of civics and a semester of econ. For the UCs and CSUs, they've required 2 years, 1 year world history and 1 year U.S. history. For English, you need 4 years of English to graduate and 4 years of English for UC CSU admissions. For math, you need 2 years of math. 1 year must be algebra or the equivalent of. So if you took algebra this year and you take math 2 or geometry or honors geometry next year, that would meet your 2-year requirement for math and meet your algebra requirement for graduation. If you took algebra in middle school, you've already met the algebra requirement. And then if you're in geometry or honors geometry this year, that would be your first year of math. And then next year, if you do honors Algebra 2, or Algebra 2. That would be your second year of math. For UCs and CSUs, they require 3 years of math. So algebra, geometry, algebra 2, and pre-calculus is the 4th year recommended. So if you took algebra 1 as a freshman, geometry as a sophomore, and algebra 2 as a junior, you would meet the minimum 3-year requirement for UCs and CSUs. Pre-cal, which you would take your senior year, would be the 4th year of math that's recommended for UCs and CSUs. UCs and CSUs look at if students have gone beyond the minimum subject requirements. It's one of the factors that they look at for admissions. They also look at the level of difficulty of your course load, so whether you've taken any honors or AP classes as well. There are different paths in order to meet the math requirement for UC CSU, and we'll be going over those different pathways when we hit the math slide in a few slides in a little bit. For science, you need 2 years of science, 1 year of a life science, and 1 year of a physical science. Biology is our entry-level life science class. For physical science, there's earth and space, chemistry, and physics. Those are all our entry-level physical science classes. There are some recommendations on placement based on your math level, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the science slide. For the UCs and CSUs, they require 2 years of a lab science, 1 year of a life science with lab. Again, that would be biology. 1 year of a physical science with lab could be earth and space, chemistry, or it could be physics. Your 3rd year, once you've had your year of life science and your year of physical science, your 3rd year could be from either subject area. For graduation, you need either 1 year of a language other than English or world language, or a year of a visual performing art, which we also refer to as VAPA, or 1 year of a career tech education class. For the UCs and CSUs, they require 2 years of the same language, and they recommend 3 years. So if you are currently in Spanish 2 your freshman year because you did Spanish 1A and Spanish 1B in middle school, then the Spanish 2 you're taking this year counts as your 2nd year of world language for the UC CSUs. And then as a sophomore, if you do Spanish 3, then that counts as your 3rd year recommended language. If you haven't started taking your languages yet, that's okay. You certainly could sign up for that your sophomore year and still have time to get in your 3 years of recommended language. We'll go over what the other language options are when we get to the language side. For graduation, for visual performing art, or VAPA, you either need 1 year of a VAPA class, or 1 year of a world language or language other than English, or 1 year of a college and career technical education course. For the UCs and CSUs, they do require 1 year of a visual performing art, in addition to your 2 years recommended 3 of world language or language other than English. Sometimes students have room their freshman year for the VAPA class. Sometimes they have room sophomore year. Sometimes they wait till their senior year. So it really just depends on what courses you've taken and what availability you have in your schedule for the following year. For graduation, you either need a year of a college and career technical education, CTE class, or 1 year of a language other than English, or 1 year of a visual performing art. That's not required for UCs and CSUs, although a lot of the times the CTE courses do count as college prep electives, or may meet the fall in a different subject area and can count as like a 3rd year or 4th year in that particular subject area. You can go on Amador's UC A through G list and check to see which category the CTE class falls into and what subject area it gets counted as for admissions. For PE, you need 2 years of PE in order to graduate. 1 year of PE, you do your freshman year, and then you have another year of PE. A lot of students do their PE their sophomore year. We do have some students that postpone their PE till their senior year. So you're not required to do it as a sophomore, although most of our students do take sophomore PE. It's not required for PE is not required for UC or CSU admission. Health, you need 1 semester of health in order to graduate. Students took that their freshman year. It's not required by UC or CSU, but does count as a college prep elective. For electives, for graduation, you need 80 credits of electives in order to be eligible for graduation. Electives would be any class that doesn't fall into one of these subject areas, so AVID, journalism, yearbook, TA, leadership. Any of those classes would fall down under electives. And then in addition to that, any subject area where you've already met the minimum subject requirement. So for instance, a third year of math, once you do 1 year of world language, any additional years of world language, and your visual performing art and your CTE courses would go down under electives as well. For UCs and CSUs, they require 1 year, of a college prep elective, and that's met by your global studies or ethnic studies, your semester of health, your semester of civics, your semester of econ. It can also be met by a 4th year of math, a 3rd year of science, or a 3rd year of world language. Totals for graduation, you need 230 credits, in order to graduate. You need 15 courses in order to be eligible to apply to UC or CSU. Grades required. So for graduation purposes, to earn credits, you need a D- or better. For UC CSU admissions, you need a C- or better for that course to count for college admissions. If you ended up with a D in a class and you want to go to 4-year college, there are opportunities for you to remediate that course either through summer school or through our Saturday Academy. Testing requirements, there aren't any for graduation. The UCs and CSUs no longer require the SAT or ACT and will not look at the scores and will not use them towards college admissions. Community service, there are 20 hours that must be completed during high school of community service hours that you have to complete for graduation. If you go on the Amador website, there is a link that talks about community service, the pre-approved organizations where students can volunteer, as well as opportunities that are available, and the form that will need to be completed and signed and submitted. UCs and CSUs do not require community service for admissions. However, colleges assume and would expect you to do community service during your time in high school, and they do ask for that information on your college applications. So what is the typical 10th grade course load? So sophomores take 10th grade English, they take world history, they take a math, they take sometimes your first or second year of language other than English, if you're planning on going straight to a 4-year. Usually you're taking a science, could be your first year of science, could be your second year of science, but it also could be a CTE elective or it could be a VAPA class. And then usually it's rounded out by PE, or if you're postponing PE till your senior year, another elective. So the above schedule is a typical course load for a 10th grade at Amador. However, we know that not all students are going to follow the same course selections. It's going to vary from student to student, but this at least gives you kind of an overview of the courses that a 10th grader typically takes. A 7-period day option will be available for students that enroll in the following classes. So music, which includes band, orchestra, or choir, leadership, AVID, CTE, and ROP. So if you're taking one of those courses, you're welcome to sign up for a 7th period if you're okay with taking a class during a period, which starts at 7. English options. So for English your sophomore year, you have a choice between taking honors English or college prep English. I'm not going to read you the description, but you'll see here that these are some of the texts that they may cover in college prep sophomore English. The other option is honors sophomore English. Talks a little bit about what the rigor and what they'll be covering within the class, as well as the books or novels that they'll be covering as well. You're welcome to go back to the PowerPoint itself and read these through. The PowerPoint will be posted on the Amador Counseling website. It's also included in the scheduling information letter that you received. World history options. So you have two options in world history. One is the college prep world history class. And again, this has a description of what the class entails. The other option is an AP world history class. AP courses are college level courses taught at the high school. So they're going to be more rigorous. They're going to require more homework, more reading, more analyzing. An AP course, because it is a college course, does come with the weighted GPA, which means that normally in a college prep class, an A, it's based on a 4.0 scale, with an A receiving 4 points, a B receiving 3 points, a C receiving 2 points, and so on. In an AP course, it's weighted, so an A would receive 5 points, a B would receive 4 points, and a C would receive 3 points. D grades in an AP class are actually not weighted, so there's no change in Ds or Fs. But hopefully, if you're taking AP World, you wouldn't end up with a D or F in the class. Math options. So the math department is really good about sharing with students what their math recommendation is for the following year. So you can expect that coming here pretty soon. Certainly talking to your math teacher about their recommendation is always encouraged because we want to make sure that students are placed properly in their math courses, especially since math builds on the year prior. So if you are currently in 9th grade, your options are either to go into Math 2, Geometry, or Course 1. So Math 2 is a slower paced geometry course. It does meet the requirement for four-year college admissions. The path that a student would go on if they go to Math 2 next year is Math 3 their junior year and Math 4 their senior year. So you're basically covering Algebra 2 and Geometry over 3 years instead of over 2 years. So again, it's slower paced. You would meet the minimum 3-year math requirement of Algebra, Geometry, and Algebra 2 for the UCs and CSUs if you took this path in math. So for students going into Geometry, this is the more traditional path. So Algebra 1 freshman year, Geometry sophomore year, Algebra 2 junior year, and then senior year would be pre-cal. So students would meet the minimum 3-year requirement for admissions as well as the recommended 4th year. If you are really strong in math and want to accelerate, the other option is to go into Course 1 next year. So Course 1 covers a year of geometry and a semester of Algebra 2. So it covers a year and a half of math in 1 year. And then your junior year is Course 2, and then you cover the second half of Algebra 2 and the full year of pre-cal. Then you would go on your senior year to either College Prep Calculus, AP Calc AB, or AP Calc BC. The difference between AP Calc AB and BC is that AB covers 2 semesters of college calculus and BC covers 3 semesters of college calculus. If you're in honors geometry or geometry this year, the next year you would go into either Algebra 2 or honors Algebra 2. Your junior year, you would either go into pre-cal or honors pre-cal, and then your senior year, you would either go into AP Calc AB or AP Calc BC. You would be meeting the 3-year math requirement for college admissions as a 10th grader, and then have 2 additional years of math for a total of 5 years of math before you graduate. If you're in honors algebra 2 as a freshman, you can go into honors pre-cal as a sophomore, AP Calc BC as a junior, and then usually students are looking to go into multivariable their senior year. Those students would have 6 years of math for college admissions. Sometimes students also take AP Statistics, which is another AP math class. It's just not in the math sequence. So this gives you a little bit of a description of each of the math courses. So it compares Math 2, Geometry, and Honors Geometry. Again, I'm not going to read them, but you can go back to the PowerPoint later and read them through. This explains Course 1, which again is a year of geometry and the first half of Algebra 2. Also explains Algebra 2 and Honors Algebra 2, and then the difference between Pre-Cal and Honors Pre-Cal. Science options. So science options, for life science, the entry-level course is biology. We've got Principles of Bioscience. You either need to have completed bio, or you can take Principles of Biomed Science concurrently with biology. And then there's honors human body systems, which you have to complete a year of Principles of Biomed before enrolling in the honors human body systems. It's a Project Lead the Way class, and classes need to be taken in order or in sequence. There's AP Bio, so you're strongly encouraged to take biology and chemistry prior to enrolling in AP Bio. However, you can take bio your freshman year and concurrently enroll in chemistry and AP Bio at the same time. Zoology is an option as well, and you can take that after you've completed biology. Your physical science options are Earth and Space Science, Chemistry, and it's recommended that you've completed algebra with a C or better, or physics, and it's recommended that you complete algebra, geometry, and algebra 2. Physics actually works out really well if you're concurrently enrolled in honors pre-cal at the same time. Elective options. So what are elective options? Why are elective options just as important as core requirements? It's important because, one, they're fun. Not to say that your other courses aren't, but it's a course that you're choosing because you have an area of interest in. So it's good to find out what you're interested in, see if you feel like that class might be a good fit for you, something that you might want to pursue in terms of college major or career. Or maybe you take a class and you realize, like, oh, I actually don't enjoy this as much as I thought I was going to. This is the age to try and explore your areas of interest and find out what you're interested in. So we want you to make sure that you're trying out some classes that you have an interest in, as well as the ones that are required for your goals, including graduation, for your college admissions, and so on. So there are a lot of choices, a lot of courses to choose from, and you'll notice that on your 10th grade scheduling sheet, it will list the courses that you're eligible to take. Starting next year, you'll have even more courses to choose from. So as you get older, you have more options. So sophomore year, what we're looking at is for languages other than English. If you haven't started your language, there's American Sign Language, there's Chinese, which is Mandarin, there's French, Japanese, Korean, which is typically taught at PVA, and Spanish. For English electives, there's creative writing, debate, journalism, and yearbook. For visual performing art, there's art, ceramics, digital arts, drama, band, choir, orchestra, photography, theater production, video production, and more. For CTE and ROP classes, there's computer science, culinary skills, intro to engineering, intro to criminal justice, sports med, and more. And then other courses, there's leadership and AVID. These courses require an application and an interview process. And again, this isn't the full list, but just gives you an idea of what some of the options are available to you. We do have some new classes that are being offered next year. There's an honors computer to integrated manufacturing course. It's a project lead the way course, and you'll see it has an XHP next to it. That means that it's a new course, and anytime we have a new course, it has to be submitted to the UCs for approval, and it's being submitted as an honors weighted course. So um, the window to submit new courses, it opens in February, and then we hope to hear back by August whether the course is approved or not. So we'll let you know once we hear. Honors Environmental Sustainability is a Project Lead the Way course. It's also being submitted for honors UC approval with the weight. This class is replacing our AP Environmental Science class. And then we also have a CTE internship work-based learning fieldwork class. Career and technical education. I won't read through this, but basically what it's saying is that if you take multiple courses in a particular subject area, then you could get recognition for a CTE pathway. You can see the different areas that our courses fall under. And if you're interested in that particular field, you certainly can sign up for electives that fall under those categories. Honors and AP courses, I kind of explained this a little bit earlier, but so honors courses are more rigorous than college prep courses. They're not considered college level like AP. Most of our honors courses don't have that extra GPA boost, but colleges will take into consideration the increase in rigor. If you wonder if an honors class is UC approved for that extra GPA boost, you can check our UC A through G list. It indicates which honors courses are weighted. And by weighted, we're talking about the grade point average. Advanced placement or AP courses are designed by College Board and are fast-paced, are rigorous. A C- or better in an AP course, you earn an extra GPA point. D's and F's don't. But so like I said before, normally an A in a college prep class, it's a 4-point A, a 3-point B, and a 2-point C for an AP course. An A is worth 5 points, a B is worth 4 points, and a C is worth 3 points. Scores on AP exams at the end of the year, so those happen in May once a year. You can earn college credit at the college that you're planning on attending. It varies from school to school, so it may depend on the course, it may depend on the score, it may depend on the college. UCs and CSUs only factor in 8-year-long classes of weighted courses in their GPA eligibility calculation. So just to be aware of that. Just a message to remind you not to burn yourself out. So school life balance is very important. Obviously, the academics are important, but it's also important that you take care of yourself. We want to make sure that you're eating and sleeping and exercising and still have time for your relationships with your family and your friends. High school is a time for you to enjoy and spend time doing things that are fun, and so clubs and sports and school spirit and all the fun things that come along with being a high school student. So we want to make sure that you keep that in mind, and there's so many hours in a day, so you don't want to take on such a challenging course load that you don't have time to do any of those other important things as well. So just keep that in mind. We want to make sure that your health and well-being are good. And so just make sure that you're picking a schedule that is the best fit for you when you're doing your course selections. So you can use this year as kind of a gauge to see how challenging your schedule was this year and if you want to increase level of difficulty for next school year. So were your courses too easy, too challenging? How are your grades? Were they better or worse than you expected? What was your time commitment like? Like, did you get enough sleep? What did you sacrifice to be successful? What are your other commitments? What do you participate in? So are you a member of a club, a sport, a band, the band? Do you have a job? Do you take care of siblings? So think about that too, because you want to make sure that you're balancing your time here at school and extracurricular activities with homework and your other responsibilities. So ask yourself these questions before selecting classes, like what do I like about school? If I take one less rigorous course, will my other grades improve? What are my priorities? What am I willing to sacrifice? So ideally, um, your high school experience would be like the chart on the left, and you would gradually maybe increase level of difficulty as you realize, what kind of workload you can handle, what course load would be appropriate for you, and then being successful the whole way through. And we know that doesn't always happen, right? Life is trial and error, and sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't. You learn from what you try, you make adjustments, and you move forward. But in an ideal, perfect world, it would be great if we all were in the left chart and gradually increased our level of difficulty and were successful the whole way through while making appropriate scheduling choices for ourselves. So maybe you're maintaining the level of difficulty, maybe you're increasing it a little bit, maybe you're getting involved in more activities or spending more time with your friends and family. The chart on the left shows a student that kind of over scheduled themselves. So started out strong and then it was too much and then they didn't do as well and now they're trying it again. So again, trial and error. And these things do happen where you're trying something for the first time. You're not sure how you're going to be able to handle the workload. And sometimes we don't end up scoring or getting the grades that we were hoping. And then you make adjustments, and that's okay. That's part of being a human and learning from decisions that have been made and then making adjustments and making different decisions. We just want to help support you through that process and help you think through, what you're selecting before you select it for next school year. For your planning and balance, you can go ahead and work on your 4-year plan to make sure that you get all of your courses in that you need to meet your goals for graduation and for your college. I know the counselors went in the classrooms, the freshman classes this year to help update your Zello 4-year plans that you started as 8th graders. So you can use that as a tool when you're selecting your classes for next school year. Your transcript and college admissions. So really the colleges are looking for 5 academic classes all 4 years. Many colleges will recalculate your GPA after your first and second semester senior year, even after you've been admitted. A balanced load and trends. Are you continuing to do better? Are you continuing overloading and doing worse? What are those blips? Are they explained in your application? And then are you taking classes that you may be interested in? So high school is a good time, again, to try out things that you're interested in because you may find out you really like something, or you may learn soon that that wasn't the area that you thought that you were as interested in as you thought you were. And that's helpful information too. So getting help. So you have your assigned alphabet counselor. You're welcome to attend a workshop. Excuse me. That's highly recommended. And so we are doing question and answer sessions about course selections the last week of January. So it's the 24th, 25th, as well as January 31st, February 1st, and then February 7th and 8th. So we're happy to answer any questions that you have about course selections. You can schedule an appointment with your counselor. You can drop in during brunch or lunch if you have a quick question. And then, of course, we have our question and answer session with students and parents coming up on January 22nd from 5:45 to 7:55. The College and Career Center is a spot where they organize college rep visits, they plan college and career fairs, they organize scholarships. So there's a college and career website that might be a good resource for you. We have our support counselor, Miss Hugh. She provides social and emotional support to all students here on campus. So she is there in addition to your alphabet counselor to help provide you with any support that you need. Helpful links and resources. So there's the counseling website that always has good information. There's a program guide, that has course descriptions and offerings. That's a great resource. There's the 10th grade course selection sheet. So that lets you know what courses are available to your grade level. There's the course videos and information that the teachers put together so you can find out more information about their specific courses. And then, of course, you have Zillow, but there's also a 4-year plan doc that you are also welcome to create and plan if that would be helpful. There's a link there. Again, students are going to be scheduling their classes through Student View. Friday, February 7th, Friday, February 2nd at midnight through Friday, February 9th at 11:59 p.m. That's when the scheduling window is going to be open. And then there's a link here to Student View. We'll be sending out directions to you the end of January. We have our training on how students select classes through Student View and Synergy coming up the end of the month. So we'll be sharing that information with you as soon as we receive it. Important dates, course selection window, again, Friday, February 2nd at midnight through Friday, December 9th at 11:59, and students and families will be able to enter the course load selections through Student View. Access workshops for students, January 24th, 25th, 31st, and then February 1st, 7th, and 8th, counselors will be available to help students with their scheduling needs during access. So please come, bring your questions, sign up through FlexiSched. We'll be in the multipurpose room. And then the curriculum fair or elective fair, again, is going to be on Monday, January 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. in the large gym. And then the teachers will be available to answer questions about their courses at that time. The counselors are hosting a Rising 10th through 12th grade question and answer session same night, Monday, January 22nd in the multipurpose room. Session 1 is from 5:45 to 6:45. Session 2 is 6:55 to 7:55 p.m. Pleasanton Virtual Academy will also be taking applications between February 2nd and February 9th for the 2024-25 school year. Their application is on their website. And then course selection confirming email will go out to families in March for the 2024-2025 school year. Again, want to make sure that you're taking your time in making course selections that you feel like are the best fit for you, because there are going to be limited times for you to be able to submit a schedule change. So just want you to be mindful of the courses that you're picking and making sure that you're making good choices for an appropriate schedule for whatever that looks like for yourself. And thank you so much for listening to the presentation. The counselors look forward to working with you and supporting you through the course selection process.